Start of the season, we have a lot of rookies, like 10-man roster. It was all very new.
Taking over for I Will Dominate is Dardoch in the jungle, and playing support today is going to be Matt.
We already had existing synergy with Dardoch.
That's the hammer shot. That's an impact possibly going down, but he stays alive. It goes under the turret. Team Liquid's been waiting for a fight this whole time.
Me and Dardoch were like the macro players. We're trying to set up how to do the lanes, how to set up the team fights.
Conquan's down for crowd control and support. Moon's in a real bad spot, and he goes down, and Liquid in and out.
The decision was already made for Dardoch to play. He was known for being like, a clutch player on stage.
I think Matt proved that he's up here because he's just as good as LCS players.
Conquan, Unbreakable Will is on. GBM ult comes in. There's going to be a TP on that as well from Impact. Whoa, GBM gets absolutely deleted.
Matt again finds a great backline tempered bait.
I don't think anyone should be surprised when we end the split in the top 2.
Welcome, memers and dreamers, to our second day of play in Week 3 of the North American LCS. We're coming to you live from the Battle Arena in Los Angeles and looking forward to another 5 games of back-to-back league action. Now here, just a moment ago, you're seeing Team Liquid heading into the studio. They've won their last 2 games and are looking to grab another today against Team Impulse. There's Gates backseat driving as MASH warms up for another day on the Rift. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, and joining me on the analyst desk is Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler and David Freak Turley. Good day, gentlemen.
Good day.
Good day. It's exactly
Why is every
noon.
intro now good day?
Well, because you've done it, and in the past, every time I say good morning, you're like, no, it's noon, it's not morning. And if I say good evening or good afternoon, you're like, no, it's not afternoon, it's exactly noon.
afternoon.
So there's no way for me to win unless I say good day. So there's your reasoning. Now, before we dive deep.
I'm feeling really awkward right now. There's
right?
a lot of
all of a sudden, this got really heated. It's like a really intense day also. But before we dive in deep into our LCS discussion, I need to make a quick shout out to Freak, the man himself, who attempted to drop some knowledge bombs on the viewing public yesterday during his cast. Check it out.
Did you know that if, I believe this is true, I could be wrong, so, good did you know, but if both people stand on that little gemstone that drops from Rift Herald, neither one gets it until someone leaves. And so you can just play a game of chicken. Right, the game doesn't just, pick one for you. I could be wrong, but you can just sit there and be like, no, you leave. I've never had that happen, but, I've noticed, oh, this picked up late, but someone always, plays chicken really quickly.
First of all, how can you do a did you know if you don't know?
Easily. I can ask if you know the answer, and then people can answer the question.
I still don't know the answer. I even went to try it last night.
Yeah.
And we stepped on it at the same time. I think that it was exactly the same time. We tried to get it perfectly, but I don't know if we did. And it gave it to him. Your did you know was wrong.
So that's why I said, did you know? And now you verified, and now we have an answer.
I'm still not quite sure.
No. See, here's the thing. Because of what I did, now we know. You're welcome, League of Legends.
Well, first of all, it's not entirely verified. Second, the proper grammar there would have been do you know, not did you know. If you're actually asking someone the question, you say, do you know the answer to my question?
Well, hold on.
So, Freak.
No, because did is past tense. So it's like, did you know this before?
Right.
Right? Not do you know now.
Implying that I don't know it anymore?
Maybe, right?
Don't battle semantics with me, Freak.
I did used to know how to do calculus.
We can go all day on the semantics, my friend.
If you asked, did you know calculus, I would say yes. If you said, do you know calculus, I'd say no.
All right.
That might be
Let's
fair. That's fair.
I'm the best.
But even so, you presented it and immediately followed it up with, I don't know the answer, but I'm going to present it as if I do. So you presented it as fact.
I mean, it should have been, did you know if?
All right, we derail.
It's like a
we derail.
joke.
Regardless, now it's your turn at home to impart some wisdom on the League community by responding to our social media question of the day. What is your favorite League of Legends factoid? Send your double-checked, peer-reviewed responses to @LolEsports. I want to see
Make sure it's true.
I want to see citations. If I go back and check this and it's wrong, I'm going to be real upset. Kobe and I don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to be angry all the time. So include the hashtag #DidYouKnow, and we'll read the most insightful responses later in the day. Remember, #DidYouKnow. Today's action starts with Team Liquid, though, taking on Team Impulse in our first game of the day, followed by Energy versus TSM, and then Team Dignitas against Cloud9. After that, it's Echo Fox taking on Immortals before CLG go head-to-head against Renegades to close out the weekend. Now, everyone has played half of the league so far, so let's see how the teams are shaking out. At the top of the table, it's Immortals with 5 straight wins and no losses. Sharing second place are CLG, Energy Esports, Team Impulse, and TSM. In the lower half of the standings, tied for 6th, are Cloud9, Team Dignitas, and Liquid, while Echo Fox and Renegades round out the rest of the league. Now, despite some crazy games yesterday, the outcomes were much less volatile than in the first couple weeks. We saw a glimpse of normalcy with TSM, CLG, and Team Liquid all taking wins over their opponents. Now, these are all teams that we expected to perform well, and after a rough start, they seem to be on an upward trend.
Yeah, especially TSM. It's almost like a line graph where just every single game is better than the previous game there. Winner losses, okay, those have gone back and forth, but quality of games definitely.
The slope of that graph consistent for between each game?
I mean, I just said it was a line, so otherwise it's not a line, Kobe.
I don't know. I feel like there were varying degrees of increases and all right. Continue.
We're going with this one. Did you know lines are straight? Do you know? Either way, though.
I don't know.
Honestly,
I would.
Okay, can we not? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Please
give
continue.
serious analysis right now, and you're flustering me. TSM's been very good, and I think their most consistent player has actually been Hanser, which is great because when they announced the roster, people were like, what the F? Hanser? Really? Like, you got Yellow Star and Hanser? But he's been absolutely amazing. So it's really good to see him do so incredibly well. And, you know, he's been, I think, like my most improved player of the year or something at this point because just how good he's been.
Especially the early adoption of things like the Poppy in the top lane.
Yeah.
I've been really big for TSM.
Bodies
Definitely a
Huni,
strong
like,
point for them. Also, I want to shout out CLG, you know, another one of these old organizations that you're talking about that kind of started out slow. But, man, they showed yesterday they are still one of the best, if not the best, lane swapping team in North America as they absolutely destroyed Echo Fox. Darshan back to his old ways, pretty much exactly what you expect from CLG games, right? It's him split pushing, they got an advantage in the early game, and they were able to finish it out.
Right, and now even though the results have been expected, the way in which the games were progressing yesterday was not so much, right? We had these very strange, tight
Fastest
games.
day ever.
Fastest day ever. We had an average of 30 minutes and 23 seconds per game yesterday, which beats our previous best from all the way back in 2014, spring week 1, day 1.
Did you know that?
What?
Yes!
Yeah. That's why I said it.
Well, there you go.
I'm informing you.
You didn't know
Just
until.
in case you didn't know.
I mean, this morning in the story meeting, you were told that. You didn't know until like a few hours ago.
Yeah. Thank you to the staff.
Anyways, I mean, it's kind of funny because at the beginning of this season, we were saying, oh, the games are going to be much faster. And then week 1, they were actually much longer than people were expecting, at least in North America. The point is, though, that a lot of the changes that were made in preseason, you know, by the designers were with the goal of shortening the game times a bit. And you can set up the game so that it's easier to end. But if teams choose to play defensively and, you know, no matter how weak the towers are, if they don't go and try and press in, then the games aren't going to be shorter. Now we are seeing teams take advantage of weaker turrets late game and trying to push for these earlier ends.
So there are definitely plenty of tools for teams to end the game with, but Freak, for the teams that are on the losing end of this or on the back foot here, what are their tools to get back into the game?
Yeah, so the two big things to sort of think about, I mean, League of Legends is complex, and you can use all your old tools for, you know, coming back in games for League of Legends, but the two big changes that are different this year, above all else, are basically mid-game teamfights mean more, so like that 22-minute ace.
Because death timers are
right,
longer,
so that,
you can
there's
get
that
more
mid-game
back.
span between like minute 12 and like 37 where they're longer than they used to be, so losing team, you get that ace, you actually get to take a turret or Baron and then recall safely, so there's more room to play with if you win the fight. And in general, team fights are less snowbally for the winning team. Assist streaks are gone, so just if you happen to be 0-0 and 12, way less gold for you by just winning a bunch of team fights. And conversely, if you kill that guy who's 6-0, you just got 450 global gold, you know, combined for that kill, and there's even more if you kill him the next time around. So the sort of mid-game team fights, just realize that there's a lot more at stake than there was before, and pick those fights very closely.
And that can be contributing to the back and forth nature of the games that we're seeing.
All right, well, there you have it. Now it's time to go ahead and jump into our first game of the day, Team Liquid versus Team Impulse. Team Liquid have been much stronger looking than their record would indicate, and it's in thanks part to their new jungler, Dardoch. Now, we wanted to learn more about the man that I Will Dominate found and groomed to be his successor. Take a look.
Well, I was at a place where I didn't really have many options. Like, it was either like be miserable still in school or try and make the League of Legends thing work. That was sort of motivation to get to the level I am now.
I just ran into him in solo queue and I realized that he was actually a pretty talented jungler.
When we were looking for a new jungler and Dom identified Dardoch, he said, hey, this guy looks really good. And then he kind of hands it off to me. And I start all of the more physiological, psychological background will drive kind of questions to find out, is this the right person for the team? And that's how we were able to find Dardoch.
Me and Dom's relationship's always been pretty good since our personalities are like similar. There's no like animosity between me and him with like me taking his spot or anything.
Yeah, I definitely see myself in a young Dardoch. People around here will tell you when he joined the house, people would call him Little Dom.
When I first moved in, I learned almost everything from him. Like everything I could possibly take away from him positively, I took it from him.
I would just kind of go through just like different options that he had to just kind of like let him become his own player, because I'm not trying to train someone to play exactly like me. I have my own perspective on the game, and he has a different perspective because he has different strengths.
I think Dom likes to be more calculated and sort of play around the team, but I'm pretty confident in my mechanics and like my knowledge on the champion, so I want to kill the enemy champion.
The flash burn to Cocoon predicted, and that's a dead yellow star. The Dardoch hype, what a Cocoon right there.
I don't think I necessarily need to get to Dom's level or like that's my end goal. I just like want to be the best player I can be.
I think he definitely has potential to be better than me. As long as his mentality stays positive about the game, I think that he'll be able to get there.
I believe Dardoch has the components to be one of the best players in North America. You're going to see him as one of the NA rising stars.
There's clearly no lack of confidence from either the team or himself in terms of where they believe he can get to, but your two opinion on him as a jungler and what he's shown us so far in the LCS.
I think he's been just actually pretty great. He's, I think I said this yesterday, he's been one of the pros, new pros that have actually acclimated pretty well to the stage. It's always a test for every single player, and Dardoch has passed this test so far. You saw him be super aggressive. He wrecked top lane in the previous game. Like, he made Lorlo beat Impact. If you told me that was going to happen from a rookie jungler, that's a rare trait to happen, but he made Lorlo beat Impact, and that's pretty impressive by Dardoch.
Yeah, I think he also has a really good sense of macro play in the game overall, and you know, where to be, and that helps a lot, you know, as being a jungler. Also, in tandem with him though is Matt, who also helps out with the macro play and shot calling for Team Liquid. And from support, his Bard yesterday was spectacular. He won them multiple team fights with some very well-placed ultimates.
All right, well, we'll see if a similar strategy can shut down teams like Team Impulse. Standout substitute player Seraph as Liquid faced the hottest team not named Immortals today.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Seraph and the rest of TIP now, as far as Seraph's playing with this week. It's weird that TIP's 3-2. They're tied for second right now, and it's like, you have to let that sink in. We're 5 games in and TIP are tied for second. These guys have strung together a lot of actually pretty impressive wins right now as a squad. Seraph, in particular, of course, has done well.
Yeah, exactly. He's a huge part of this. As one of the subs for Team Impulse, he was one of the most valuable players. He had a strong performance on Lissandra as well as Fiora, and he's a huge voice in the team's communication, adding a lot to the shot calling and directing the rest of the team as he's split pushing. So he's really gelled well for being a substitute player.
Yeah, the whole team. It's been pretty impressive with Gate moving around to 3 different positions over 3 days. You bring Seraph in, you've got the Koreans now arriving. In terms of when you talk about gelling, it's really impressive that they've been able to make this many shifts and still operate well. And then, of course, we have Gate now landing in that support position. We'll see how he performs today. But let's be done here at the desk. That's enough talk from us. It's time to send it over to the casters to get this match underway.